I wanted to. This is a little bit loud. Let me try and get this music under control. It's a little bit loud. Um, Here we go. So I just wanted to talk to everybody. I don't usually do the podcast by myself, um, but it's been a common denominator with um, myself and some of my friends of when people are struggling, and I think it's important to talk about. And it's scrolling across the bottom of the screen for those of you, especially our younger folks, um, if you're needing help and you don't know who to talk to. So I wanted to do this because I've been asked so many times through the years, um, when I came out, my coming out story. So I just wanted to share what that was like because I've told it so many times, and um, I like sharing the story. It's tough to share, but it was a life saving story for me. So I just think it's important that everybody hears it, and because we all have our own struggles, we all go through them, and it doesn't matter if I mean we all have our struggles. Like, it doesn't matter if you're gay, you're straight, you're white, black, Asian. Like, it just doesn't matter. We all struggle. So I want to tell you, like, when I was actually a sophomore in high school, and I always knew I was different. I I really loved Barbies, and I mean, it's so cliche to say growing up and all that. And I had three brothers, and they were like, I never got judgment from them. Nothing. Like, I just fit in with my family. But when you get older and you start going to school and you're different than every other dude, um, and then you get made fun of and all that stuff, like, it starts to like show you, oh, maybe I'm not like them. Like, my brothers were great, but I wasn't like them. But I never noticed it until school showed me that, and public school. So yeah, so I went to school, and I loved my Barbies and all that, and like, it was just odd. I didn't understand sports. I tried them. And it was fine. I mean, one of my great friends, Sam, played basketball with me, and um we didn't go anywhere because our team sucked. And I also did softball. No, not softball, baseball, with another friend, Joe. And yeah, it was all right because I liked my friends. I really liked my friends. I just That wasn't me. So that was okay. And then I met my girlfriend, Lisa. I'm not going to bring last names in because I don't want to do that to anyone on this podcast, but she was so cool. We hung out all the time. I mean, we were like best friends. We ran through the forest. Oh my gosh, I sound like from a Disney movie. Through the woods. So I grew up in a small town in St. Wendell. So she lived right around the block from me. And yeah, we went through all kinds of stuff together. And we had the best time. We would hang out on our old swing set that didn't even have the swings anymore because they just rotted out. So we just sat on the poles and swung around on that. And we had this um, tire hanging from a tree right next to it. And I remember that was so worn out too. And there was one day I was pushing her so hard on that tire swing and it just broke and she went flying. When you're young, you don't get hurt. Um, so I was with her for 4 years. And I remember thinking, I'm going to marry this woman. I love her so much. And I still do to this day. Um, but then when your body changes, I was, like I said, a sophomore in high school. Um, your body changes, and I was so confused because I just started getting really um, obsessed, is the word, with the dudes that were in band with me. And I would see them and just be like, I don't understand why I want their attention so much because I didn't get it. I didn't. That was so new to me. I grew up in a Catholic family, and so that was really odd. So trying to fast forward here, but I don't want to skip details because it is an important story, and I want every kid that may be watching this to hear it and know that that's that's normal. That's part of it. So anyway, um, yeah. So I was with her for 4 years, and she moved away to a different school, so she was hours away. Um, and so then it got really dark for me. I went into a very dark phase of my life. I was still in band and chorus, and I was actually in a lot of plays and stuff. And comedy was how I kind of deflected my pain, and I loved it. That kind of kept all the sadness away, but it was it was still there. So I ended up I had to write my mom a letter because I was like, I think I know what's wrong with me. I think I'm gay, and it was the worst thing that could have ever happened to me in my life. At that point, I wanted to die. So I ended up um, having a few close calls with suicide, and my mom told me to promise her that I would never do that, to wake her up. So I did. I woke her up, and the night that I was ready for, I was ready to go. So I actually went to, I woke her up in the middle of the night, and she didn't tell any of my family because I asked her not to because I didn't want to disappoint them. So she drove me to the Mulberry Center in Evansville and checked me in. So I stayed there. Um, it was about 2 weeks. She had to explain it all to my teachers and let them know everything was okay. She had to like lie to my family. Like she kept all the secrets. She kept them for me. So that was pretty like just amazing because everybody was worried. Um, so I stayed there for 2 weeks, and I actually played the Brian Adams song, "Everything I Do." I played that for. I was in a group class. We had to have our sessions every day and show like what hobby we liked. So they actually wheeled out this keyboard and I played it for everyone. So, but I actually didn't get a lot of help there. I was so sad, and they discharged me, and I went back to my own life, and I still didn't tell anyone. I was too scared to do it, and, I worked at Wolf's Barbecue, actually, at the time on First Avenue in Evansville. That was the first job I ever had. Um, yeah, yeah. So, I remember I was getting it was in this, like, 2 years. This is 2 years in now from sophomore to senior, about to graduate, and, I was sitting on the sofa getting my shoes on and putting my uniform on to go to work, and there was an Oprah show, and I apologize in advance. I may get emotional on this. I'm gonna try and keep myself together as much as I can. But every time I tell a story, even if I'm in public, it gets a little emotional. So anyway, this is so cliche. Um, I saw there was an Oprah show, and she had moms on there that were actually on the show to find new moms for their kids because they were dying. So not only did they know they were dying, they had the mentality to look for and interview new moms. So I was sitting there putting my shoes on, and I never watched Oprah before. I didn't. I was young. So, nobody in their teens watched Oprah. I mean, maybe you do now, but I didn't. So, I saw it, and, I just remember sitting there. I sat back after I put my shoes on, and I was like, "Wow, these ladies are dying, and they're still living their lives, and they're so happy, and they are they're doing it. They're out here doing it, and here I am being depressed, making everybody around me sad because I'm gay, ruining their life. I mean, I was ruining my mom's life. I was ruining everybody's life. I was I was just in this weird spot. So, um, that was the moment my brain clicked after 2 years of a dark depression. I had my grandma's car at the time. It was a white Dodge Shadow. And I remember driving to work that day to Wolf's Barbecue, which is like 35 minutes away from my home, in St. Wendell. And I just felt the most relief, the most relief. And I cried so hard. And I actually went to work, and my friend Mary Beth, I'm not going to mention her last name, she goes, "You seem different. What happened?" And I was like, I, I don't know. Like, I saw the Oprah show, and I just, I'm not sad anymore. I didn't know why. I didn't know what clicked, but something in that episode clicked. So, believe it or not, that night I wrote the story down on a waiter pad, a waitress pad, a little thing they take your. I wrote it down, and I took it home. And when I got home, I remember my mom was like, "What happened? You seem like a different person. What happened?" I was so happy. I was so different. I was happy, and I didn't feel sad anymore. I didn't hate myself. It's like something clicked after that episode that just showed me that it's really okay, and being gay doesn't kill you. It doesn't. And I've never from that day ever been that sad again. So I told my mom that and I showed her the letter and she said, I think you need to write a letter to Oprah. And I was like, what? Oprah's not going to read this. She's so busy. She has like a million people that follow her and like write into her show. She's not going to see this. And mom goes, I still think you need to do it. So that was the summer that I graduated high school. And I did write the letter and I sent it in. Um, and then I moved away to Bloomington, Indiana, where I went to school at Indiana University in Bloomington. So it was just kind of forgotten. Um, and then the Oprah show called me and they wanted me to tell my story on the show. The producer's name at the time was Jack Morey, and he was the person I spoke to on the phone. And I was like, really? That was a long time ago. I'm not, that's, that was over a year ago. And he said, it was, but we read every letter. So we would, we would like you to tell your story. So, um, they did. I was like, okay, um, yes, yes, I will be there. I will do it. It was in Chicago. I was in Bloomington. So, my at the time, my partner, I'm not going to mention his name because he's very private. He loved Oprah. It's like that's like his idol. Um, but I said, can I bring somebody because I had to fly and I hate flying. I'm so terrified of flying. And he said, yes, you can bring one person. So I called my mom, and she wasn't able to go. Um, but so I asked my partner at the time. I was living in a dorm in Ashton at IU's campus. And I called him up and I was like, you're never going to believe this. Your idol wants me to go on the show. And he said, will you go with me? And he was like, yes, I will go with you, but I won't be on camera, which I understood because it's a big deal. So they came down to IU and followed me around campus for a little bit and actually let me write a song for the show, which they played my segment, um, and then flew me up there. Both of us. We got off the plane, and there was a limo driver with the sign, just like you see in movies, with my name. And I got to actually talk to Oprah and have a segment on the show. And I came out on TV. I came out on TV. So I don't regret it. And anybody who is struggling with that right now, just know it gets so much better. I had the most fun. And Oprah told me afterwards, after the show wrapped that day, she shook my hand and she said, your story is phenomenal and it's going to change lives. And just like the cancer survivors, well, the moms who are dying, just like their story changed my life. I hope that this It only gets better. You have no idea. You may be struggling. Trust me. You're going to have the best life, and it's going to be so great. So that's my Oprah story of coming out. There you go. I hope this wasn't too more. Keep your head up. You're not alone. And if you are struggling, the number is scrolling across the screen. I wish I had this back then. So there you go.